wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Except that it's Hanukkah.
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
Yet another in the long line of holiday jokes that we'll be making. It's just going to be the end of this year. That's how it always works. It is the holidays. We did Thanksgiving just a month ago. Now we have Hanukkah, then Christmas, and all of the various things. So we didn't get you any presents this week. I'm sorry, because I don't celebrate Hanukkah. But instead of presents, what I did give you is 1 hour with an ignorant, uninformed, ill-advised, self-deprecating moron ranting about opinions that I have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter. Our goal here at Another Wasted Hour is to convince you that where we hail from, just outside Washington, D.C., is not just a city of politics and scandals, but one brimming with art, music, and culture. As impossible as that may seem. So listeners, now that you know why you're here, I'm Keith, and joining us fresh off the red carpet, we have Liz Gamaz, the director and actor of the award-winning movie Face Them. Hello, Liz!
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I was very late today.
You were.
I could have not said that and people wouldn't have known. But I think I should own up to it. It's just DC. It's now the holidays, so everyone's shopping. Everyone's out there after work doing things. I don't know, hiding, probably moving elves on the shelves on a regional level. I don't know.
I love that you're using those excuses, though, when I was 30 minutes early.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're very timely. That's the
Military brat.
Yeah, I was working. That's what I was doing. And then traffic and metro and everything else that gets in the way of what should be. It's the reason why in this region everyone's just so mean, right?
That's true. It's kind of like they're all little Grinches right now.
Yeah, they're like, that guy cut me off in traffic. Well, that's because traffic. That's
He deserved it.
Yeah, right. So we've never had a filmmaker on the show before.
Wow.
Much less one during Hanukkah. Do you celebrate Hanukkah?
I do not.
You should.
I should.
I mean, we should take up all of these holidays. I don't know why we don't just adopt them all, because we'd get more time off.
That's true.
Right?
Like when people get upset about Columbus Day, and I'm like, okay, I get it.
No, yeah.
Don't take away my day off. Call it whatever you want. Mashed potato day. I don't care.
Right, exactly.
Don't take my day off.
Right, dress like an ostrich day. Whatever. Let's just not go to work because I'm wearing this stupid ostrich costume.
But
yeah.
Did you see on the news that they were having trouble lighting the candle because of so much wind yesterday?
No.
The wind was so bad that they kept blowing the candle back.
Oh, no.
I had to work.
Okay.
Like, it was kind of like, I felt bad for them. I'm like, you got this.
It's the festival of... Oh. It's the festival of... We need the light part. Otherwise, it's just a festival. So, yeah, I think they've really... I don't know why we missed it as what people call a Christian, country. That kind of is the majority, I guess, at this point. Because with the Christian side of things, we have Christmas, which is fun. We have lights and we have trees and stuff. But then, like, one day and we're done, right? We all get together, we unwrap stuff, and we're like, hey, high five Christmas, and then that's it. The Jewish people kind of got it right because they were like, we like presents. Let's do this every night.
I love their tradition. It's like for Christmas for me is I'll put a Christmas tree up December 1st.
Okay.
Kind of like I'm gonna celebrate all, but I'll only on December 1st. Everyone else is like celebrating Christmas
Good.
before Halloween.
I would kick I'd kick you off the show if you started before Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving, we just determined this on a previous show. Thanksgiving is still a first round draft pick, like in terms of holidays.
Right, it deserves to have its space. I'm kind of like,
right.
Once Black Friday happens, because it's a lot of Christmas shopping happens on Black Friday.
Yeah.
I get that. I get the music.
Sure.
But Halloween, man, the day after Halloween, I'm hearing Christmas music on the radio, and I'm like, no, not today, Satan, no.
Away from me, Jesus. It is Satan's night. So that's fascinating. Tell us a little bit about you as a filmmaker. What do you do as an actor and a filmmaker in the area?
Well, I've been an actor for quite a few years, but just this year was my first time directing. So this is my directorial debut.
Oh, okay. How was that? Was that like super weird?
I've been my job that pays my bills is human resources.
Excellent.
Breeding ground for all monsters. It's not a lie.
Right. No, because you find out all of the secrets.
Oh, you do, but because
Right.
of that, I'm very OCD. So
Okay.
the pre-production of the filmmaking was fun to me. Like I made the storyboards and the shot lists and wrote the script, and I had done all of that work, location scouting before I even got my cast and crew.
Really?
So I was like, okay, so I knew what days I could film, so I had built the schedules, and I did that for about, I don't know, 3-4 weeks before I had contacted a crew.
Right.
And I have there's amazing DMV film, probably as well as music community that we have here. So I just put out a call like, hey, do I have a DP, music, this and that? Kind of like, who here wants to help me? I am poor, but I have pizza.
That's all I can do. It's like moving. You basically asked people to move, but you were like, could you, instead of moving my furniture, could you move my pictures? Right.
Yeah, so pre-production was great. Then we got the rest of my cast, and
You should have tried to wow them, right? And be like, guys, not only is this going to be a great film, it's a talkie. We're using technology here.
and we had some great technology too. And the post-production, that was the wall slamming into the wall of being an actor for so long.
Yeah.
What we do is I'm in theater and whatnot. You get on a stage, you do your thing a few times. I've been on stage plays about 20 times. You done,
Yeah.
you walk away.
Right.
Film, you're on camera, and you do your thing, and you leave.
Yeah.
And you don't ever really think about everything that has to happen after you leave.
Right.
I know.
And you have no one else to blame now if you look stupid. Right? Like before.
My fault.
Right. Like if you've done like a film and somebody else, you go, oh, I'm going to do my part. And be like, and then they edit it and you go, that was a stupid edit. That makes me like, that director. Right. And now it's like, if it's a stupid edit, you did it. That's you.
I was all about taking multiple takes because I was, because being the writer, director, and in the film,
Yeah.
that was very difficult. And I originally wasn't going to be in the film, but it's really hard to find a lot of actors who will work for free.
Is it?
So
All right.
it's hard. I mean, a lot of people
Yeah.
are doing this for their job,
Right.
So I understand. But for me, it's like, let's just make art together.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, editing was okay because we had tons of like material, I think.
Sure.
And my editor, Clint Gage, from Growth Media Productions, he did a fantastic job with the film. He took all our little pieces together and was like, here, let's make. And I'm just been so proud of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great movie. I mean, here's the thing that I want to like caution our listeners to, and that is there's a different mindset, I think, when it comes to indie movies than what you see in a movie theater, right? Because I don't know if you want to share with me that what was your budget for this movie?
It was $500.
Yeah,
That's
so-
what I was willing to do for my mortgage.
Yeah, and so you spent $500. A low budget movie that goes to Sundance, we're talking $30,000, $100,000. Like those are like no budget films is what they would call those, right?
Oh, yeah, and they always have a name actor. Like it'll be
Yeah.
these A-lister, B-lister, C-listers, and we're all what I would call the Q-listers. Like, we're a little down there.
Yeah. And then when you look at like the Hollywood blockbusters that are actually in theaters for a long time, we're talking tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars that are spent making the movie.
Yeah.
You spent $500.
Well, my budget would have been like the toilet paper for somebody's first week of a major like Marvel film.
Yeah. So watching it with that frame in mind, I think that this is remarkable, right? You put together, it's about a 12-minute thing?
It's about 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay. I think it was 11 something overall. I saw.
Yeah, with the credits.
But yeah, so about 10 minutes running time, so not as long as you expect, but you packed a lot of storyline into that and a lot of emotion into it. And I think what I've learned when looking at indie films, the key is to look for content, right? Because you could always have like a better camera and you could always have a larger crew and better lighting and like all of these little things that that go from that take you to the $100,000 mark, right? But the content doesn't change, right? If it's done well, the script, the arc of the story, the impression that it makes on you, that doesn't take any money, right? And that's where I think this really shines, right? Like, I'm still pretty blown away by the fact that for $500 you made the product that you made, because I think that that's remarkable. If anyone who's ever tried to like just film something on their phone, you'll know how hard it is to make something look like you didn't film it on a phone, right? Like, you know, and then just take the next step up. Like, how do you go up in quality each of those levels? And it just gets more and more expensive. Your phone already is $500. So now you're looking at a camera that's in thousands of dollars that you have to rent, right? And then
and our DP, he had his camera, and it was great because the crew had their own equipment that they, you know, so I was able to be like, hey, bring your lights, bring your sound, bring your camera, and let's make a movie.
And here are people who are, you know, who are doing it also because of the love of it, and they all came together and made something. I think that's remarkable. It deals with a sexual assault. I think it's interesting because it doesn't really focus on that, right? It doesn't focus on what happened. It kind of starts where a lot of stories end. We hear in the news right now in Hollywood and everything where, you know, such and such acted in this inappropriate way, attacked, you know, such and such at, you know, this hotel room. And that's the story. That's where we end our stories right now in society.
Right.
Your movie, like in the first few minutes, pushes that under the rug and says, okay, that happened, and spends a majority of the entire movie dealing with what happens to the person after that.
Right.
And I think that's remarkable because we don't talk about that very often.
And that's why I wrote it. I'm a huge advocate for mental health, and I think everyone who's listening or with themselves has experienced in some form. I think the statistic was everyone in the room has, in a room of 100 people, you will know somebody who has been assaulted, who you are assaulted, or somebody who has heard a story.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, absolutely.
That's why the Me Too campaign was just so striking to me of like people getting out and talking about it. But for Face Them, like the film, I wanted to bring awareness of mental health about after sexual assault, after I never say the people's names because I don't want to give them power, but the person who had assaulted that lady while she was unconscious, the monster, and his dad was on the news and said, like, I don't know how my son is getting his life ruined for 15 minutes.
Right.
I was sitting there going, you know what, you're 15 minutes, whatever, you disgusting, like, and I keep myself back. No,
go for it. Let's do it.
Like, fuck her.
Yeah.
So like,
make it happen, Liz. I want to hear it.
No.
This is the place. This is the time.
It burns in the fires and the pits of hell.
Yes.
That is an eternal damnation for a person who has been assaulted. It's something to live with for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's life changing, and it's like any type of physical assault, right? Like, you know, you're not going to bleed the rest of your life. You're not going to be in the emergency room the rest of your life. But if you've ever been mugged, you're always going to kind of look over your shoulder. You're always going to have that scar. And when somebody asks you about it, you're going to have to go through and say, oh, that was the time that, you know, somebody physically assaulted me in terms of violence, right? So not that this isn't that, but I think you get my point. That still happens, but on not only a physical level, but a mental level when it comes to sexual assault too. And I think it's underappreciated that that's an occurrence and a thing that happens for a lifetime. So, all right. So this is pretty deep. We're a comedy podcast, people. It's all right. We're going to come up for a breath of air. I want to talk more about this because I think it's super important. Okay. I think we've also seen in the news that it is an incredible movement that's happening. Hopefully we can be a part of that here on this podcast. But for now, what I'm going to ask is that we go into other parts of the news, specifically something we call the weather report. So you are an actor, right? You know how to play parts. So I'm going to give you a part this evening.
Okay.
Maybe one that you've never played before, but wields a lot of power. You're going to be a publisher of a brand new news publication. It can be a magazine, it can be a newspaper, whatever you want. You are now the editor-in-chief, the CEO. You get to decide what comes, what goes. You have the power. All right? I, as your noble reporter, have scoured the internet for as many interesting news items as I could find. You're going to let me know if I hit or miss on these, or, more importantly, whether or not they're news. So,
All right, I like this power.
yes, be prepared, because at the end, we're going to have to find out what the name of your new publication is so we can promote it so people can look on newsstands. Right?
Okay.
All right. All right. So without further ado, let's get started. Police. This is from the police blotter. Man's bag of cheeseburgers stolen in armed robbery. Holy shit, there's a real hamburger. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well,
right?
cheeseburger, right? Something like that. A 23-year-old man was walking down the street of Hamden, Connecticut, and then the cheeseburglar, we'll call him, held him up at gunpoint, grabbed his burgers, and ran. Police are investigating. Also, apparently, the news is really fucking slow in New England. That's, I assume.
I'm gonna say, is
That's-
that all? Okay.
But no burger is safe, Liz.
We know with the way McDonald's and Burger King have their prices, it's already robbery. Okay?
Right.
So I don't know. I think this is kind of what if it was a homeless guy who was hungry? I don't know if this.
Where did he get a gun?
I don't. You know, it's America.
You can get a gun, but not a. He has a gun. He could have sold a gun for
You
hamburgers.
can get a gun at a grocery store. Hey, come on, man.
Well, he purchased the wrong thing. He's hungry.
Well, you know,
I guess it was a.
criminals aren't the smartest ones.
Or was he? Was it more like give a man a fish,
You know what? It's
teach a man to fish with
know
a
that-
gun?
now that we're thinking about this and going through it, you know that they probably knew each other. Because
Wait.
nobody just goes up to a random stranger and takes their hamburger. So that man took his woman. I'm sure this is just him taking something back. He was taking the power back.
All
I
right.
don't know.
I like this view of it. I think, but we could easily turn this into clickbait. We just say like, "Are you eating cheeseburgers? You could die,"
True.
and then people have to click on that, right? Because
We'll put this in the fashion section.
all right,
Nobody
it's in.
reads that.
Yeah, I got one in. I'm a real reporter. All right, a little bit of a different story. Human feet still washing up in Pacific Northwest, but don't panic.
Don't panic.
No,
Okay,
so no big deal to have feet washed ashore in the Pacific Northwest, it seems. The quote is, there are likely hundreds of dead human bodies in the waters of the Northwest at any given time. Okay, so why not hands? We don't know.
Okay.
Or heads? No, but apparently recently washed up, a recent washed up foot is the 13th in the last decade in British Columbia. That's over a foot a year. That's rising more than the oceans.
You know what? I don't know, man. It's like a fetish. Let's put it in the fetish column and then let people know that's where they need to go for feet.
Well, so here's the thing. Washington State also has its fair share. Here's what makes this foot particularly odd and noteworthy, I think. The guy who found it picked up the foot and took it home before calling the cops. He was like, a foot. I think I'll bring this back to my dog. I don't know what his plan was.
Look, your kink is not my kink, but your kink is okay.
Yes. So, public service announcement. The authorities say if you find a foot on the shore, you should call the authorities and they'll retrieve it. No need to hand carry the foot home.
You know what? Let's scrap this story.
No.
Don't think it's a big deal. I don't either. I gotta trust the police, right?
I like that you've taken on this character. This is really good. All right. Well, I thought that was a gimme. Okay.
All right. Well, you're not that good. Give me another one.
Fox, the station, not the news one, but this particularly is the one that has the football on it.
Oh, football.
So yeah, Fox, as an actor, you may appreciate this, sought out actors to be Los Angeles Rams fans for an Eagles game. Yeah, the Rams apparently not having really good attendance in LA, where they just recently moved to. So this happened this last Sunday. Spoiler alert, the Rams are not very good, and the Eagles won. Earlier this season, when the Eagles played the Chargers in LA, the Chargers QB, Phillip Rivers, complained that they didn't even feel like it was a home game due to the sheer number of Eagles fans. Football fans in any city probably know that Phillies fans show up everywhere. like herpes. And Fox aired the Rams game. Fox aired the Rams game and was aware that the same problem might occur again. So they put out a casting call for actors. I will read you. Casting directors are now casting actors, models, and talent to work on Sunday, December 10th at the in Los Angeles, California. Producers are seeking the following types. We're looking for LA's biggest NFL fans to be a part of NFL Sunday's Los Angeles versus Philadelphia Eagles pregame show. Yeah, they hired people to be fans of the Rams.
Okay, so number one, you just lost your Christmas bonus because you didn't realize I was an Eagles fan and had to have that attitude. Calling about Eagles saying herpes, so no Christmas bonus
Hey,
here today.
I'm just saying, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
And second of all, Rams should know Eagles show up everywhere because it's our house, motherfucker. All right, so this goes on the front page. Eagles kill Rams.
It's a slight, all right, rewrite. I see. Yeah, no,
what it is.
I understand that.
Little bitches.
I think the Rams are actually doing okay this year. I lied. They used to be really, really bad.
They
But
hurt our quarterback.
did they? Oh, that's very shame. What happened to him?
Well, yeah.
Was it herpes?
Right. You were the worst.
All right, next one. All right. Fake parents offer themselves as stand-ins to meet teachers and lovers. Are you particularly ashamed of your parents? Well, you're in luck. Do you have a boyfriend or girlfriend who wants to meet your parents, but you don't actually want them to meet? This is an actual ad on the Chinese internet. For about $7 an hour, you can hire a fake parent to meet anyone that you want. Angry teachers, risky boyfriend, anyone really. This new rental system comes from a popular girlfriend-boyfriend bridesmaid rental, and have been made that have been made in place for some time. So now, instead of just boyfriends and girlfriends and bridesmaids, you can rent parents. I assume we're just one step away from renting friends. I think that's right around the corner. I think this is brilliant, for the record, because if you were in high school and you were getting into trouble, and your teachers were like, we have to talk to your parents, and you were like, fine. You give them the number of the rental parent, and the rental parent's like, oh yeah, I'm really disappointed in my son, right? And then you're done, right?
That is pretty genius, but I would be curious where this high schooler was getting that kind of money.
It's only $7 an hour. That phone call's like 15 minutes.
You know what? That's not bad. Okay.
That's lunch money.
It's not a bad idea.
And I can beat up the other kid and take his money to pay for it, because what are they going to do? Call my parents?
You know, it might be interesting if they kind of like evolve that into like bringing a fake boyfriend to a bar, so the guy just stands there like a bodyguard, so you can just go and do your thing, and everyone just leaves you alone.
We should make this.
Right?
Yeah.
So I like the story, but I'm not sure where I want to put it.
Safe dudes. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to make they have background checks. They're reasonable human beings.
Yes.
And they will go out to bars with you, and they'll be your designated driver, right? And if you get like plastered, you know that there's no funny business, because they are hired help.
I like this.
I think this is a thing that could happen.
We can call it my bitches. That's what we can call it.
Yeah.
All right, good story. You did all right. Is that the last one?
No, I've got more. Oh, it's coming from all directions here.
We're gonna put that one in. We're gonna put that one in.
I got a couple more for you. Toddler signals help in sign language during photo with Santa. So I don't know if you know this, but they're teaching toddlers sign language now because it's easier to learn than speaking, so they can learn it sooner, right? This particular toddler knew how to sign the word help. Apparently, that's what the toddler needed while sitting on Santa's lap. So there's no getting around it. Sitting on a strange older man's lap and telling him what you desire is kind of creepy. It's something we accept, but it's a little weird. A couple of parents in Owings Mill, Maryland, not far from where we are right now, taught their babies some simple sign language. I myself has made it a point to teach all of my nephews how to sign more and cookie. We also taught moose, which is not official sign language, but we think's adorable. Yeah. These parents taught their son help, and the young man used that particular sign while on Santa's lap.
Okay.
Help! We're just taking a picture. Help me!
So I wonder, like, somebody in the audience kind of saw that and was like, should we call the police?
Right. What is happening right now? Oh my God. What did Santa say he was going to give him for Christmas? So
An attitude adjustment.
it's like, I wonder if he thought that was a hostage situation. Like, what do you want for Christmas? I don't know. Then you're not going home. You're going to stay here until you tell me what you want for Christmas.
Well, Santa's a very like strong, empowering character as a child. Like he literally knows he's a stalker. He's a criminal.
That's-
to your home.
That is true.
He's this guy who literally can tell you your parents if you're good or bad. Like this guy is a piece of shit. Like,
He's a little creepy when you put it out of context. Like we're all cool with it,
Yeah.
right? But when you think like, hey, so I know this older guy, right? And sometimes he makes toys at home, and he's gonna come down your chimney in the middle of the night. It'll be fine. And
don't lock your doors. So
as long
get
as
inside.
right, as long as you've been good, he watches, so he'll know. And you're like, no, and then you're like, Christmas. Oh no, I like Christmas. Christmas is nice.
Right?
It's Santa. Oh, when you say Santa, that's fine. I'll leave him some cookies.
That would be the threat too, like with babysitters, because I was pretty terrible as a child. But babysitters would be like, "We're gonna tell your parents what you did," and I would look at them and be like, "Santa sees me and he knows that you're a liar."
How did you end up in HR? You should have been a lawyer.
I know, right?
You're like, objection!
I'm just-
Santa knows.
It's like Santa knows and you're a liar.
All right, last but not least, this is some local news. Here we go. Naked man jumps onto moving truck near Dulles Airport. Were you aware of this?
It messed up a lot of my traffic, and I was like, somebody better have died. And then you hear naked man. I'm like, oh man, I didn't get to see that.
Right, come on, I have a truck. Right. Jose Gonzalez Flores was 32. He was involved in a hit and run and then assaulted another driver and ran into traffic. Police said he tried to smash the windows of passing cars and used a knife to stab the roof of a truck that he jumped onto naked. A witness told News 4. That's definitely one way to distract people from the fact that you caused a 3-car crash.
I was thinking he was like on some zombie drug because they show the video of him on top of the car, like hacking at it. I was like,
Yeah.
does he think it's a dragon? He could be high.
No, I like the fact that he was like, oh my God, I don't have insurance and I don't have my, just get naked and get out of my car in the freezing cold and lay down on the roadway until someone's tired. I got a knife. Like, and then the cars are ignoring him. So he's like, I'm going to jump on the back of that bitch. Ah! Die, truck, die. That's not how trucks work. I don't care.
That's why I thought he was high, but apparently he was just a criminal and just totally, you said, you know what, since I'm going to get in a lot of trouble, I'm going to take every motherfucker out with me.
I mean, I kind of like, there's a piece of me never would do anything, but admires him in a way. Like when you get to the point where you're like, I'm going to jail for this. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just
gonna be naked and run around the road. You're like, you know what?
It's like there was a guy like years and years ago, you remember on the news, who I forgot why he went on the rampage, but he like went into like a National Guard depot and stole a tank and just rolled over everything.
Wow.
In California. And I don't think he hurt anyone, but he would just be like, car, and like just cause like millions of dollars in damage because he was like, what are you gonna do, right? Like they're putting like,
can you fight my tank with a tank?
Yeah, like they're like putting spike strips in front of him, like it's a tank. What? And so yeah, they just followed him for hours as he just destroyed things, and it was like part of me was like, well, the majority of me is like that's wrong and you can't do that. Part of me is like that's awesome. That was well done. Nicely.
Like, I wish I had the guts to do that.
Right. All right. So, news, no news. We had a couple there.
I would say we should put that in the mental health since we're talking about mental health in here.
That's
so
good.
Put that in the mental health section.
Okay. Sounds good. So, pretty packed. That's a full publication just about. I think you only missed one of them.
I know. Yeah. Because, the police said the feet weren't a problem.
That's weird.
Shouldn't be weirded out by it. So, you know what? I'm kind of like, the police, we have to trust them. They know what's best for us.
I do like that we went with naked man jumping on the back of a truck as news. Human foot found on beach.
Cops said it wasn't news. It's not news.
So if they come out and said, like, there was a naked man stabbing a truck, but it's not news, you'd be like, I believe you.
Exactly. Why are you being difficult?
I understand. Sorry, boss. So...
You already lost your criticism.
Right. I think I've been fired at this point. So what is the name of your brand new publication? Do you need a rundown of all the things we have, or you got it
we're
written
going to
down?
call this publication The Shit Stains of Humanity.
Right. So everybody keep an eye on your local newsstand to see your very own copy and grab your very own copy of the Shit Stains of Humanity. Which I guess we could, what you should do is if we do it on 2-ply, right, we could print the news and then use it as toilet paper afterwards to really sell that whole.
Yeah. I like this idea.
Yeah.
You get half your bonus back.
Excellent. All right. So we've gotten through all of the news. We've made a brand new publication.
We did.
We're setting records right now, I think. This is more productive than I've been all week. So let's get back to the news that's happening here. You just released a brand new movie.
Yes.
That's what we talked about a little bit earlier. The movie is called Face Them, which I don't think we said earlier, so I wanted to make sure. It's available up on Amazon. It was released December 12th. Right now, you can go up there. I know for a fact that there are many different ways that you can view this particular movie. You can go to Amazon and join Amazon Prime and watch it like that. And it's free. You can watch it for free, but you have to watch some ads. Or you can rent it for like $1.50 for an SD, and I think it's like $3 for HD. And then you own it, right? I guess you rent it for a number of for amount of time. But I assume a decent amount of money goes to you if that's the case. Does any of that? Do we know?
Right now, just the way streaming service with Amazon, I have no clue at this point. Have I put anything up on Amazon?
So officially, I should say, don't worry about renting it. You can just do the free one. Just go watch it.
The point of the film is to make it as accessible as possible to
Okay.
people, and that's one of the reasons. Like with Amazon Prime, and I'm a Prime member myself. I live off Prime. But,
Yeah.
it's like cat food. Yeah, Prime got me.
Yeah.
We wanted people to be able to see it for free with the streaming if they didn't have Prime, so you just have to add ads, so you get these little
Yeah.
commercials, but you still get to see it. And it's 10 minutes, so the ads shouldn't, I haven't tested it, but it shouldn't be a lot of ads.
No, I think it's like one at the beginning or
Yeah.
something. So it's you've said it's actually award winning. Tell us a little bit about the awards that this short film has gotten.
Yeah, so it's been accepted to quite a few festivals, and the film has won probably we have over a dozen laurels. So
Okay.
the festivals down AOF Action on Film and Hollywood Dreams down in Vegas, I won Best Young Filmmaker
Great.
through Clifton Celebration, which your friend Daryl
Yeah, Daryl's the one who hooked us up. So
has won a few awards there.
next year, hopefully, Daryl's going to come on before the Clifton Film Festival and tell us all about what he does as well.
Well, I'll push him to do that.
Yeah.
I'm very bossy.
Good. Make sure he does that.
But the film has won for like best makeups from we've been nominated and won for costumes, stunts.
So a lot of different festivals, a lot of different awards. Up on Amazon, you've got 4.8 out of 5 stars. I assume the 0.2 was just one guy who was like, I don't like images that move. Right.
And that happens. And I tell people, it's like when you see the film, it's important to rate and review them just because it helps me as a filmmaker.
Sure.
Being my first time directing, learn, because I'm reading the reviews. Like I want to hear them. And it also helps make the film more visible. And for other films I like to do, having, showing that your film has a lot of ratings or whatnot, it shows like, oh yeah, I can work with Amazon. It's like, oh, I can work with this person.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
And we have, we're going to use the magic of post-production. So Engineer Adam, who can probably hear me. Engineer Adam? Yeah, so Liz is going to send you some music from the movie. If you can play that just under what we're talking right now, that would be great. And just fade it out before we go into This Week in History. He'll do that. He's very good. So,
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Adam. So great stars there. If people want to find out more about the show or the movie itself, it's www.facethem.org, right? And you had a great bunch of people. The music that you're hearing now, that's by Jason Kuchma.
Yeah.
Kuchma? Is that right?
Kuchma,
So all original composition by
Yes.
him. So thank you, Jason, for that. I wanted to speak about one moment in this film that I thought was really, really interesting, because there are some films about sexual assault and definitely different takes on it. This one's really interesting. I don't know how much I'm supposed to give away or not, but
I think it's fine.
yeah. So the main character, played by you, is kind of a dreamer. right? And so she does a little bit of daydreaming anyway. After the sexual assault, that's what she leans on to kind of get through that moment. But unfortunately, even that has been violated by this act. So the things that used to make her really happy and floaty and like let her escape from the real world now have all been tainted by this as well. So it's a struggle with how to deal with that on the mental level. It really shows what's happening inside the head, not just to the body, and then that's flashed back and forth with how that affects her life as well in the real world.
Right.
But what I thought was really interesting is we spoke about it a little earlier, and that is the actual sexual assault that occurs is way at the beginning of the movie. It's a shorter movie, 10 minutes, but probably less than 2 minutes in, it's already happened, right? And what I thought was really fascinating, there's a lot of really interesting camera works and cuts and things throughout this entire movie. But the decision that you made with the sexual assault, I thought was really fascinating. Because usually what you'd have is a young lady or possibly a young man walking, down the street. The music would rise and create tension, right? And you go, oh my God, there's something going to happen. You're like just about to like a jump scare. Somebody would jump out and attack them. And you'd be like, oh my God, right? And all this stuff would happen. And it would be this huge crescendo that would happen of like... of action and music and camera work. There'd be all this energy that would happen. Yours does none of that. Yours has a woman walking along the street and then just gets abducted. There's no music. All you hear is a cup falling. That's it.
Yeah.
It's the most anticlimactic thing in the entire movie almost. It just occurred. I find that really fascinating. Can you talk a little bit about that? What was that decision?
So, we've had the conversation,
Yeah.
It's like as a society, when people talk about rape and sexual assault, we that's what we talk about.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about afterwards. So the importance of the film is, yes, it has happened. Now let me tell you what happens afterwards, because it's not over. And I also, writing the story is everyone's has a different story of their life and what has happened to them.
Right.
So showing the assault, I didn't want to have a form of alienation to that one person's story. So having that moment of it, when Emma, the character, gets taken by the assailant, it's gone. It's like behind the curtain. Like, so everyone has
she gets dragged off and then the assault's over. There's no scene.
Yeah. And that, to me, it was very intentional for that to happen. So when somebody was watching it has a different experience, I just, like I said, I didn't want there to be an alienation of that person kind of going like, well, this movie doesn't speak to me.
Right.
I want people to be like, no, this movie speaks to everyone. It speaks to, and I being that it's a very heavy female oriented film, people understand, like, at least for most of my friends understand that I'm an advocate for everyone who has been sexually assaulted. So even those female leads, this is to speak to everyone who has been assaulted. So yeah.
To me, what it spoke to was that sexual assault isn't an event, right? We in movies make it an event. It's the horrible thing that happens, right? Like everything culminates in it. Like in a lot of these movies, like the night goes and you see somebody getting kind of drunk or something, and oh my God, something's gonna go down, and then it does, and like it just builds and builds and builds, and that's the crescendo of that evening, right? And in your movie, I think it's fascinating because I think it's reality, which is nothing happens. There's no right or wrong. There's no like telltale sign. There's no way it should or shouldn't have gone. Like it just. One moment you're a woman walking along the road, and the next moment it's now you've been assaulted. Like it's not an event. It's not a circus that happens. It's not, there isn't that rising tension. It's just a shitty thing that happens. And
it was one of those things that and it was funny is I had a friend when she saw the film, because I was when we finished the film, we would send it to people, be like, hey, review. And one of my friends was like, why did she walk down the alleyway by herself? And I stopped her and I looked at her and I said, now that's why you make the movie. And she says, oh, you caught me. I'm like, because how many people will watch it going like,
Why didn't?
the victim
Yeah.
blaming of it, of the, why was she by herself?
Why? It was awfully dark.
Yeah, it was
Right.
dark and she's down the alleyway and like, why does that matter? Like, and she, even female, she was like, oh my gosh, you caught me. I'm like,
Right.
that, I want people to, we put her in a situation that is so common of the issue of people saying like, well, what was she wearing? You know, was she drunk? Why was she walking alone? I'm like, you're telling me as a human being of this earth, I can't do any of that stuff
Right.
and not worry about something happening.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think it's a fascinating choice because it goes so against the grain of what that scene should have looked like, right? Like, and usually you grab the audience by the hand and you go, we're heading towards something that's really important to the story right now. And you didn't. You were like, oh, by the way, this just happened. And now is where the story is. So I thought that was really interesting. And I think everyone, if you have an opportunity, please head up to Amazon right now. Look up Face Them. Go watch it. It's 10 minutes, for God's sakes. I think you'll be impressed as I was. This is a local filmmaker, somebody from the DC area who has made something from scratch on her own with obviously with the help of other people in the DC area. But this isn't something where a production company came in and funded it or that you got hired to do. This is something that you guys got together and did on your own. So go support that. Go check it out. I think that you'll be impressed with what's coming out of this area. Perhaps December 12th will be a day that goes down in history as the date that this was released in the beginning of a budding directorial career. But for the meantime, we're going to have to go back in history to find out what else occurred this week in history.
Ooh.
Segues. You like that?
I did.
Like a pro. All right. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go through a few things that happened this week in history. You, since obviously you're now an old pro at being able to tell what's important and isn't, are going to let me know what the most impactful thing is that occurred this week in history. I don't have the official date on this one. I probably should have written it down, but we did mention it before. Hanukkah. We have Hanukkah this week, so that's a pretty good thing to mention. I figure this week in history, Festival of Lights, thing about oil lasting longer than it was supposed to, and then we eat food, and I don't know, there's a whole bunch of things, right?
Right.
I don't know all of it. But there's a menorah, we know that. You light different candles. All of the Christian people aren't good at that. We've noticed, I don't know if you've seen this, but they'll have a Christmas tree, and they'll have a menorah, and they'll just have the menorah lit up, even though it's like not Hanukkah yet.
Right.
Or it's like the
Christians are really good at burning like women at the stake, you know. I mean, we're
Right.
good at that.
Yeah.
But no.
But we're like, oh, we have to have both of them? Okay, there they are. And they're like, you're doing it wrong. It's fine. And if a Jewish person were to be like, yeah, I took this elm tree and put some lights in it, they'd be like, wrong tree, bitch. And like, yeah, you did it wrong too. So happy Hanukkah to all of our Jewish listeners. Sorry about all the people who don't recognize what you do. You're lovely. In 1894, we have a happy birthday. Happy birthday to James Grover Thurber. The very famous James
Happy
Thurber.
birthday.
Yeah, you're familiar with him, right?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, good old James Thurber. He's an American author and cartoonist. He was blind since the age of 40 and continued to illustrate his books until death. He lost an eye when shot with an arrow when playing William and Tell with his brother, which is why you shouldn't play William Tell with your brother.
I'm gonna shoot your eye out.
Basically, yeah. He later almost became completely blind due to the injury. Even with his blindness, Thurber drew 6 covers and numerous classic illustrations for The New Yorker. So, what the hell have you done recently? Right? I mean,
I don't know.
we need to step our game up.
I got my cat litter done today. After like weeks.
All right, 1957, Willem J. Kolff and his team at the Ohio Cleveland Clinic removed the heart. Oh my God, this got dark. Oh, from a dog. That's not so bad. And replaced it with a pneumatic pump, which I hope was helpful because otherwise it's just weird.
I was like, where is this going?
Which actually kept the dog alive for 90 minutes, proving the viability of an artificial heart. Although before that moment, people probably went, you're doing what? You're gonna
Well, see,
What?
at the moment that anything happens to a dog, like I shut off. It's like with movies, like if the dog dies, I'm like, I don't even care anymore. Like, let the people die.
Yeah, right. I think in this case, I wonder how many there were before that, right?
I don't want to think about that. Think about those poor puppies.
I'm wondering if he was like, okay, I'm gonna take out the dog's heart and replace it with a pneumatic pump, and then they're like, no, this has potential, not like the last 13. It was like, what do you mean? Well, the time you took out the heart and replaced it with a banana, that didn't work well. And the time that you replaced it with a vase, that wasn't even well thought out of. All it did is collect the blood. Like, and so at least this time they were like, no, Willem, I think you might have something.
I'm afraid about. I don't want to know how many dogs got hurt. I'm sorry.
No?
Like,
What if we remove the dog's heart and replace it with another dog?
would be like dog inception.
Yeah.
Dog within a dog.
Dogception.
I like that dogception.
All right, 1968, Japan's biggest heist is still unsolved. The 300 million yen robbery occurs in Tokyo.
It's like $2.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah, 300 million. Yeah, it might be like 350. This is such an American thing to say. We're so good.
Dollar isn't shit. It's total shit.
Yes. This is a little bit like Japan's DB Cooper, except instead of obsessing over $1 million in today's money, Japan is worried about $10 million in today's money. Bank employees were transporting executive bonuses in the trunk of a car. Awesome. Great idea. Yeah, absolutely.
That start of like a fun movie.
Right. And then they removed the trunk of that car and replaced it with a pneumatic pump. What? No, that's not true. They were stopped by a policeman telling him that that the manager's house had been blown up and they were in danger. The policeman crawled under the car, which began smoking, and the employees ran while the policeman got in the car with the money and drove away.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is kind of brilliant. First of all, you have to be a policeman.
Has there been a movie about this? I kind of feel like there needs to
There
be a
should
movie
be a
about
movie.
this now.
What if it was DB Cooper?
Right?
I think it could have happened, right? DB Cooper was what? Was that in the 70s? Was that early 60s or 70s? We have to look that up. Someone on the internet go look that up and then
Cool.
email us at contact@anotherwastedhour.com and we'll find out next week.
There you go.
That's my theory, is that it was DB Cooper doing it, both of them. Anyhow, so that's kind of cool. That took a lot of inside knowledge, though, didn't it?
I was gonna say that was a total inside job. There's no way.
Right.
There's no way that didn't know everyone.
Because otherwise that guy had to stop every car and be like, whoa, there's a house exploded, you're in danger, and then he stole it, and he was like, is there any money? Nope. Go back to the same place and be like, there's a car that exploded, this is gonna work.
Like it probably was like the Yakuza or something. Nobody was gonna mess with that. That's why it's never been like just
Found. Yeah.
you're like, we're good.
He opened up that trunk and was like, yes, it worked.
That's mine.
Yes. Oh, good. It only took 47 cars.
Well, you know what? He obviously was a go-getter.
Yeah, he was. All right. 1983, Nancy Reagan sits on Mr. T's lap and kisses him on the top of his head. And then signs, help. All right. The last part I made up.
I was gonna say that. I wouldn't be surprised, but you're wrong.
So there you go. That's newsworthy, I think. That's historical. Last but not least, 2014. We were probably alive for this.
Maybe.
I don't know how old you are, but it seems like you're older than 3.
Yeah.
So
Mentally, I don't know. No.
the world's first penis transplant procedure
Holy crap.
by a team in Stellenbosch University, which is and Tygerberg Hospital in Cape Town, South Africa. First of all, Why are they ahead of us when it comes to penises? Like in the U.S., we're way into penises,
You would think,
right? Like everything's penis, right?
Like we spend more money than anyone else on Viagra.
Yeah.
Like, penis is like the number one thing. We like penises more than anything else.
Right.
That's why our society has fallen. Women take charge. Go forward.
So
Them all.
how did South Africa go? I think what it was is it's dudes, right? Because dudes in the U.S., they were like, hey, we are going to take that penis and put it on your body. And dude was like, no. Oh,
I would feel like a dead body in a dead body kind of a thing. Like,
Right.
Who's going to volunteer? Like, obviously somebody did, but I'm like, oh, as alive. I'm like, was it that small that he was like, you could take it, I wouldn't even care.
Right. Well, although what we could do is this is a way that we might be able to help fund transitional surgeries, right? If we're like, hey, you don't want that thing because you're a girl, and I knew a dude that really does want one, we'll just flip him, right?
Do the flip. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That seems like we could save money on that side of things, right? We just pair them up and be like, so you were a dude, born a dude, but you don't want to be a dude anymore, right? Because you're a girl. And they're like, yeah, and you're a girl, born a girl. You don't want to be a girl anymore because you're a dude, right? Think we can make something work here.
It's like we have an agreement.
Just so, and then like, ta-da! Everybody's happy, right? I don't know.
It's a neat theory.
There's also a theory that I'm not a doctor. So that's
I think that's fact, not theory.
there's a strong chance that I don't know anything medical. All right. So what is our most important historical thing that happened this week in history?
The heist. I want a movie from that.
Okay.
I want to pick the heist.
You can make a movie.
No. I'm all like intrigued now.
Why don't you make this movie? You can't say there should be a movie. You're a movie
I
maker.
can't do that because it's
Why?
the United States and it'd be whitewashed.
What?
Because I would not be, I would
Dude.
good conscience do that movie if I couldn't do it.
There are Japanese people in the United States.
No, but not here. Where in here, like in my area, like no.
There are. They're all over the place. They're the ones that look Japanese.
No. You had to find Japanese. I was like, I would not do it unless I had Japanese actors and whatnot. Yeah.
Okay.
So if I had that, I would definitely do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you know any Japanese actors, if you could write us at contact@anotherwastedhour.com. We are currently casting a movie about the Japanese DB Cooper who explodes a house and steals a car and gets 300 million yen.
And you have to kickstart that because I think that's going to cost me more than $500.
I don't know. I think we can get away with this because the explosion doesn't actually happen. Just make the car smoke a little. We're in.
Yeah.
We do this in 10 minutes. I got $500 and I think we can make this happen. All right. So there we go. The Japanese DB Cooper is the most important thing that happened this week in history. Thank you for your help with that because I wouldn't have known. I would have probably gone penis every time. I mean, right?
All right. Good, good to know.
All right. This is our next segment. Yeah. It's pretty easy.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's about.
I understand.
You understand. So we're going to do a little interview with you. We have a few minutes left. So we're going to go for two stories, one near and one far. I hear that you have a fantastic far story.
I do.
So let's get started with that because we want to make sure we hit that. So what is your story from out in your adventures?
So at my adventures, I would say like this is probably 3 or 4 years ago, but
Yeah.
I went to a casting. Like I had done a casting call, and I was casting this film down in somewhere Maryland I had never been to. It was the middle of nowhere. So I'm driving there and I'm like super excited, and the GPS starts flickering out. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm really early because I'm good at being early.
You're very good at it.
So I was like 5 hours early. So I'm like,
That's really
I
early.
was like, I'll be fine. And as I'm driving, so it starts thunderstorming.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. That's fine. It's whatever.
Right.
I think it's an inside, like, in a house shoot, whatever. So I keep driving. So the GPS is taking me into what seems to be a national, like, park. Like, it's a park.
Oh.
Or some sort of, like,
Okay.
it's a little dirt road, thunderstorms. You
Did a-
start feeling like Jurassic Park.
Did a police officer stop you and say the national park has been blown up and I need your car?
So I keep driving. I don't know where I'm telling you. Even the GPS just kind of failed me. Like, he's like, here's you are. But the GPS is like, the house is down the street. I'm like, okay.
There's no more road. We don't know where we are.
So from the little paved road, it then turns into like a dirt, like real dirt road.
Okay.
Like, boom, 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 and they crash. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. and the GPS is like the house is around the corner and the GPS dies. So, but I had already seen where the house was and it was only a mile away. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep going on this road.
Why not? Right.
That made so much sense.
This seems like the beginning of a murder flick. This is like,
Right?
Right. It's like, well, I don't know where I'm going anymore because all the electricity went out for no apparent reason, and we're in a thunderstorm. I just go straight into the woods more.
And that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm committed to my act. Like, I'm gonna do this.
Right. The show must go on.
As I kept, it's like a 1-lane road. I'm going down the road, and there's like this one freaking light that's just hanging in the middle of the road, like swinging in the wind and the storm, and it's lit up this one spot, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
Wait.
where am I? So I drove past the light going, it's fine. I'm a mile from the house. I'm probably half a mile now. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Everything's cool.
No, that's cool.
So then
It's a death light. That's all it is.
it's just like the light of your deli.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, I went into Silent Hill. So that was, I don't know if it was Silent Hill, but this is where after passing the light, I went into Silent Hill.
This is
So-
literally a horror flick.
So the thunderstorm is raging, the trees are going.
Yeah.
And I'm turning around the corner. There's only one road.
Yeah.
There's a house up on the hill. So I'm looking at the hill and all the lights are on. I'm like, that's where the house is. How am I going to get up there? Okay, there's this road. Turn left to get onto the road, and there's a barricade on the road.
What?
And I'm standing there going like, well, how the hell am I going to get to the house? I need to get through this road, but maybe the road is flooded. Maybe somebody put that there. Maybe a murderer put it there. Like, so you're
Now in your head, you've thought, oh, I've made terrible decisions just up to now.
like, these acting things on websites, maybe this wasn't quite, you know what?
Yeah.
What? I'm going to back up. So, but then I was like, no, wait, what if the wind just blew this back? Like, because it wasn't a really official barricade. It just looked like something had tumbled down the hill. So it just comes blocking the road.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, maybe the wind just blew it and I can just move it. And then I'll just keep driving. And
Yeah.
you know what? My mama taught me much better than
Yeah. Don't do that. Right now, I'm thinking in your story, don't do that. Do not.
So I'm like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to park as close as I can to the house and then go up the hill. That's what I'm going to do. So
Sure.
I reverse the car. I turn, there's the driver window, and there's a freaking dude just sitting there with his head against the glass. Hey, how you doing? I always imagined I'd be that person in Zombie Apocalypse who would be like, that's right, motherfucker, come on! Like, get my bat and go
Yeah.
after. I screamed like the little bitch I was.
Right.
Wailing at the horror. And this poor guy just stands there, he's soaked. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, what are you doing out here? He kind of goes, he's a farmer that was on the other side and he saw my headlights. And he was like, what is she doing?
Right.
Like, so he went to come get me.
You're not supposed to go past the light.
Well, apparently the road that I'm supposed to go to, there was something there's something blocking, so I would not have seen it. And there was no
Oh.
lights. So he was like, just reverse and just go there. There's the house. The crew was up there already because,
Oh, wow.
I finally get there and I'm like shaking and they have like coffee and I'm sitting there and they're like, what? I'm like, what are we shooting today? And it literally was like an hour shoot and I was like, I hate all of you. But no,
That's-
it's literally horror movie.
Did the farmer get naked and then start stabbing your car?
He didn't, but he was so sweet and respectful because I was like, I'm not opening the window.
You're like, that's okay.
Stand.
I'm not assaulting you.
I thought he was just. I was more concerned with being sacrificed because from where I was, I was thinking this was the place of like my body's gonna be stretched out, I'm gonna get skinned, I'm gonna be burned.
You have beautiful skin. It could really be used for a nice suit.
Right? It's like it's the lotion on the skin.
Yeah. No.
Rose again. That's what it looked like.
Yeah. No. It sounds like
Great shoot.
there were banjos playing in the background.
I was in a very strange part of Maryland that I've never been to again. So
There's a witch up there. You have to be careful.
I was like, you know what? Never again.
Oh my goodness. We've run out of time. We didn't get a near, sir.
Oh, we didn't.
You're gonna have to come back. I hear you have a movie that might be coming out next year.
Yes.
Next season.
Yeah.
Come back on the show. I want to hear about it when that's coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Did you have a good time?
I did.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you for coming. Everybody, this week, Wednesday, December 20th, Seth Keibel's at the Strathmore in Bethesda, Maryland. There's not a lot going on this week, so go up to Amazon, go check out Face Them, go to www.facethem.org, watch the movie. It's 10 minutes long. Review it, give it 5 stars, even if you hate it. Okay, maybe not if you really hate it, but then don't leave a review at all. So please also like our posts, follow us, retweet us, share the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We cannot do this without you. Do not forget to review us on Facebook, iTunes, and Google Play. Thanks to Kevin Anvinger, McNally22, Justin Rogers, Big Metal Records, Alchemical Records, and Engineer Adam. Most of all, thanks to Liz Gamatz for hosting a perfectly good hour with us. This has been another wasted hour. And if you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.